Well, good morning to you. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. It is, it's a Tuesday. It's October the 6th. A lot of things going on today. Of course, we'll talk about that later in the show. Maybe a good day for you if you're a Texans fan. Change is on the way. We'll talk more about that later in the show. But Brittany Pacheco is joining us from her home studio. Now, Brittany was with us yesterday here in the show, but after the show, we always have a staff meeting for HCCTV. It sounded like Brittany was running a dog care at her house because there were dogs in the background, barking happening. I mean, it sounded like everything was breaking loose at your house, Brittany. What was going on?
Let me clarify something, Todd. It was just one dog.
Sounded like 10 of them.
No, my one dog has a loud bark. I mean, she's small, but she is fierce. That loud bark is something else, let me tell you. She wanted to be a part of the meeting. She wanted to share her thoughts and opinions about, what's going on at HCC, and she wanted to have her voice be heard, but you tried to silence her. How dare you?
Well, it was easy to, I had to put her on mute, but hopefully you've got her a little tamer today.
She is actually in her crate right now. She is taking a nap after a very long walk this morning because we did take the opportunity to take advantage of the nice weather out. But let's dive into it, Todd. Before we really get into it with our guests, I do want to remind everyone to follow us on our social media pages as well as YouTube. Be sure to click that subscribe and notification bell so that you can be the first to find out the latest uploads from us. And last but not least, we do need your help as our audience to share this podcast. You can click that button at the bottom of this podcast that says share so that we can not only grow our audience, but more importantly, just share this information out to everyone who's not following us on our social media pages.
Thanks, Brittany. We're going to check in with you later on in the show. So make sure Luna is still asleep when we do so. We'll check on that in a while. We've got your HCC news and information for the next half hour. Some great things to know. We're going to talk with student success story. That's right. A lady who's a true success is HCC as she's moved on. We've got Dr. Claudia Nolasco-Morales joining us this morning. Good afternoon, Dr. Morales.
Hello.
Good to have you with us. We're looking forward to hearing about your story. You were an HCC student at one time. Now you're working in another field. We're going to talk about that. Stand by for a little while. But first, we want to kick things off with Maryl M.L. Young. She is the Program Director, Business Continuing Education, HCC's Business Center of Excellence. Good morning, ML.
Good morning, everyone.
It's great to have you with us. And let me ask you this. I guess yesterday was a big day. A lot of students are returning to campuses in a limited fashion. How does this affect your Center of Excellence? Now, you're the Business Center of Excellence. Do you guys have lab-based courses where some students will be returning?
We do have some lab-based courses, and you're right, Todd. They did start yesterday. Things went relatively well. The students were back on campus. They were excited to be on campus, and we were glad to get back in our semester groove, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, one way or another, we're trying to get back to some type of normalcy. Whatever that looks like these days remains to be seen. Tell us about the Business Center of Excellence and what it all entails.
Oh, great question. Let me just start with giving you a little broader picture about continuing education in general. So continuing education in general is the non-credit offerings within our college. And it's divided into several what we call content areas. So we have health, IT, transportation, construction, and as you mentioned earlier, business. And I'm the director of the programs that fall under the business umbrella. So under business offerings, they include an HR certificate. We also offer project management, child development. In addition, we have a paralegal course, logistics, and forklift. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit, if we have some time, specifically about logistics and forklift, because we have some great opportunities there. Most of our classes that I mentioned are designed to move the student quickly from the classroom to the workplace. So you'll notice that our classes are anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks. all of the classes offer some type of marketable skill so that the student can go back into the workplace. Our students range from those just getting out of high school and are looking to develop a skill. We have a variety of students who come back with an undergrad or master degrees to just retool themselves and build up a new skill set.
You were talking about the forklift program and logistics. Now, I know HCC's Southeast College is located in a prime part of the city where it's very close to the Port of Houston. I would imagine these skills are something that could go directly to work for companies along the Port of Houston.
Yes, exactly. So logistics, companies that we target, like you said, Port of Houston, any warehouses or distribution centers. And we offer a robust logistics program, which includes what we call national marketable skills. So once the students go through our program, they can sit for a national certification, which in logistics, which brings value to their skill sets. And in addition to that, we also have, like you mentioned earlier, we also offer a forklift certificate. And our forklift certificate is a 14-hour course, and it's divided into part 1 and part 2. So the first part is what we call our lab and lecture portion, and our theory and lecture portion. And then the second is a hands-on, where the students actually get hands-on experience driving the truck.
Would those students be some of the ones that possibly returned yesterday for lab-based courses where they get a chance to get behind the wheel at forklift?
Exactly. They were on campus yesterday. And we have some exciting news with both our logistics and our forklift program. The East End Chamber has offered us an opportunity to offer scholarships for any students that live or work in the East End district. And anyone can give us a call. We'll give you those designated zip codes and you can sign up and register for either logistics or forklift.
So if you're say in unfortunately a lot of Houstonians may have been furloughed, now underemployed or even unemployed because of this pandemic, looking to get back in the workforce, maybe they don't have a lot of money to pay for college right now, and you live on the east side, this would be a perfect program because it sounds like you guys help them find jobs once they go through this short program, and especially with forklift operators, I imagine there's a need for them right now.
Exactly. We do help assist them with job placement. Yes.
And as far as the scholarships themselves, do they cover the whole, you said it's a 14-week certification. Do they cover that certification? Do they get them started? And let me ask you this, if they need financial aid, is that available for people who try to get certifications through this program?
The scholarship covers the entire logistics certificate and the entire forklift certificate, again, based on residing or working in the East End.
And once you go through this 14-week program, is that all you need to get out and go to work?
Yes, it'll put you right in the job market.
So this kind of falls in. I know the Southeast College did these take one and done courses. I imagine this is kind of what that's all about with the take one and done program.
Sure, it's the same concept. As I mentioned earlier, we have you in the classroom early on in the beginning. Our goal is to get you into a marketable skills job.
Right. So if folks have questions about this, we're gonna put the link to your program in the social media post. ML, I want to ask you one final question. Since this pandemic, we've been forced to go to online instruction. We did it last semester over the summer, and now we're allowing students back in a limited capacity for the lab-based courses. How has your faculty been dealing with the online instruction?
Well, HCC has been great in supporting our faculty to make the transition to master online training, online initiatives, and the teachers have just done an excellent job converting to an online component.
ML Young, we appreciate you joining us here and talking more about the Business Center of Excellence. Good luck through the rest of the semester, and we look forward to seeing you in person sometime soon.
Thanks all. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And as mentioned, folks, if you want to learn more about that forklift program, the Business Center of Excellence, and the programs they offer, we'll have the links in this social media post where you can go there, sign up for the program, get all the information you need as well. We're going to move on to one of our student success stories, as we mentioned at the top of the show. This next person, Dr. Claudia Nolasco-Morales. Dr. Morales, you are a former HCC graduate, and you also work right now with someone who's very special to HCC, one of our former trustees, Zeph Capo, who's at the Houston Federation of Teachers. Good morning again.
Hello, good morning.
We want to thank you for being here. And you know, I always think the best thing for marketing and showing people what a college is all about are real testimonials of real people who started at HCC. And you're one of those. Tell us about your journey at HCC, when you were here and what you studied.
Well, first, I want to say thank you so much for inviting me. I feel very special and humbled by this opportunity to share my experience with you and with other HCC students as well. So my journey started back in 1992. I first attempted community college one semester. I was a young mother. My child was very, very small, like 2-3 months at the time. I started my associate's degree, but I had to drop out that first semester. I didn't think that I was going to be able to do it. Luckily, I had a mentor at the time, and he encouraged me to go back to school, and I went back. And that time I did stay. So I started in 1992 and graduated from HCC in 1995. But what I do want to say is that this degree is the most valuable degree that I do have, because it did give me that confidence and that reassurance that I could do this. I was very doubtful. I heard people not believing in myself, and after you hear those things over and over, you start to believe that you can't. So I felt for a long time that a degree was almost impossible for me to achieve. So graduating from HCC was just a wonderful experience that helped me believe in myself again.
You know, you get that taste of college and success, and like you said, it gives you the confidence to move on from here. Let me ask you this, because a lot of our students now, if you could think going back to 1992 and everybody told you couldn't go to class in person, you had to immediately start going to class online. Do you think, I went to college like you well before there was internet and use of computers like we do now. What are your impressions of the way things are done right now? Do you think it would have been more challenging for you?
Most definitely, it would have been. We live in, I think life has always been uncertain. You never know what the future holds, right? That's any time. But right now, with everything that's going on, you can help but feel scared no matter where you are in your life.
Now, you went from HCC, you transferred on to my alma mater, the University of Houston, and you went through U of H and you graduated there in 97, is that correct?
Yes. Yes, I went to school. I wanted to be a teacher. I always wanted to be a teacher since I was a young child. I was the mentor in my community. I help other kids, younger kids, to read. So I wanted to be a teacher, and I wanted to be a bilingual teacher. So I went to U of H. I transferred from HCC, went to U of H, and did graduate in 1997. And I started teaching right away as soon as I graduated that summer.
And now let's go on from there, because you went from U of H, you got a master's degree, and then you got your doctor of education just recently last year, and you're working for the Houston Federation of Teachers out there, really helping teachers now.
Yes, I was a teacher for a long time, 14 years in the classroom, an administrator. I did get my master's degree and became an administrator. And then, many years went by. And then last year, again, the doctorate degree was another big challenge that I thought when I first started, yes, I can do this. And like 2 semesters after, I was like, no, I can't. And it was extremely challenging, but I just kept remembering, before it felt the same way when I was in HCC, I can't do it, but I just needed to keep working even when I thought I couldn't do it.
Right. Now, I asked you the question from the student standpoint. I'm going to ask you this question, the same one about the pandemic from the teacher standpoint. All teachers have had to convert online for instruction. If you were in the classroom now, what's your impression of the way things are going in the future of what we're headed towards right now?
Again, it's very uncertain times and they are scary. And I totally understand how teachers feel. I talk to them every day. Like everybody else, right? Some teachers are ready to go back and they feel like I can do this. We have to go back at some point. And then we have a lot of teachers that, of course, feel very threatened because of other reasons. And, it's a everybody has very valid concerns. We're all scared. None of us want to get sick. But I will tell you, teachers always work hard. And I was a teacher for a long time, so I know. But now I think they are working so much more and they are hardly ever recognized. So I always tell them, first of all, pat yourself in the back. You're doing so much. Just look at everything you have accomplished. Learning to teach online and using Zoom to begin with, or in a week, presents, like teachers did not enjoy their spring break. This year they had to be learning how to use Zoom, how to use all these, learning tools so that they could use these online.
I want to bring Brittany into the conversation because she lives with a teacher who's teaching, not right now, but usually in the background there. Brittany, your husband is a teacher for Houston ISD.
That's correct. So Dr. Morales, everything that you've talked about, first of all, thank you for all that you have done to help educating those for the last umpteen years. My husband too went to U of H, so go Cougs. He also went into teaching as soon as he graduated, and I can't tell you how much he enjoys it. He honestly, he loves teaching the kids because he learns so much from them. And he actually was so bummed out about not going back to the classroom, not seeing his first graders. And then he switched grades to now 3rd grade. So it's a big challenge that teachers are having to overcome, not just from the virtual standpoint, but by changing grades. It's a whole different curriculum. It's a whole different set of TEKs. And I can't say enough how much I appreciate teachers, because I don't have the patience to do what it is that they do. And it doesn't stop in the classroom. I can't tell you how late he works into the night doing planning, grading, and that kind of thing. And it takes a very special person to want to educate our students. And, yesterday was World Teachers Day, and, we had to recognize him, of course. So John and everyone else out there who's teaching at all different grade levels, we appreciate everything that you do. And we can't say that enough.
Yeah, we certainly can. And, Dr. Morales, just to mention as well, I know the work you do with the Houston Federation of Teachers is very important, because just as our teachers are out there in the front line and they have concerns about this pandemic and their jobs, you guys are there representing those teachers right now. So you've kind of shifted careers where you were helping students, now you're helping teachers.
Yes, definitely. I hope that I can help by listening to their stories and, trying to find solutions to problems. Like sometimes it takes 2 people to look at things in a different way. And, I'll tell you, teachers know what to do, but a lot of times, again, they are not sure because of, all the messages that they hear and all the negativity sometimes that, keeps, most people criticize them instead of celebrate them a lot of times. And we need to celebrate them more. And that's one of my goals, at the HFT. Like I try to celebrate the teachers and meet their needs as much as we can.
Dr. Claudia Nolasco-Morales, we appreciate you joining us this morning. Congratulations on your doctorate just last year, and great accolades there. And we appreciate you being a proud HCC alum. You certainly are testimony to our students.
Thank you so much.
And make sure you tell the former trustees F. Capo hello from us all, and we look forward to seeing him again.
I'll have him watch today's program.
All right, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks again for being here. We'll see you again in the future.
Sure. Have a great day.
Thank you. All right, so we are going to move on to Brittany Pacheco. Of course, Brittany, before we get started on our news and announcements, big news today if you're a Houston Texans fan. Big news.
Yeah. I almost didn't believe it, Todd, because, you know, we live in a world of memes, right? Yeah. And it was one of those things that I normally would get a notification on my phone from the local news stations, and I didn't see that on my phone. I, of course, saw it on, saw it on social media. Yeah. And I was thinking, this isn't real. And then it was flooded. Sports Center, all the news outlets here in Houston were talking about it. And I'm like, wow, this really happened. But it makes sense because we're 0-4 right now.
We're a dumpster fire. It's a dumpster fire. The season's been horrible. Some horrible decisions have been made, trading away beloved players who are in the prime of their career. Are you kidding me? Well, It's about time. And I know Houston Texans fans, about 95%, I would be safe to say that we're ready to see this happen. And personally, I think it should have happened about 5 years ago, but that's neither here nor there. Let's move on.
I will say in his defense, though, I will say in O'Brien's defense that we did make it to, some championships, here and there, but like, to not be able to advance beyond that, it's rather disappointing. I did see one meme because I was talking about memes from a local comedian. He basically showed everyone's reaction about, Bill O'Brien being fired. It's like, and it's like, it still won't bring DeAndre Hopkins back. And then it's like, no.
We wish we could have had a redo. It should have been done at the end of last year. There's no questions about it. But let's move on, and hopefully the Texans can find their winning ways and see what happens over the next, what are they? They still got 12 games to go.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, we did have one season that, we started off really poorly and then we came back and did some amazing things. But, the way that 2020 is going, I'm not putting a whole lot of stock in it.
No, but they still have Deshaun Watson. They've got him signed to a new contract. So there's some they've got a great future because he's an amazing person and an amazing football player. He just needs to get back to his winning ways, and hopefully a new coach can do that. So we'll move on to HCC News and Announcements. That's what you're here for, folks. Northwest Life Hacking 101. They've got an event going Tuesday, October the 6th. That's today at noon, seeking employment in the time of COVID. We were kind of talking about this earlier, Brittany. A lot of folks may have lost their job, been furloughed. Well, here's a chance to get back on your feet.
Absolutely. So you can join HCC Career Services Specialist Nathan Rosas and Waste Management's Luke Murray in a co-presentation on finding a job in the, quote, new normal. So check out our post for the link to register. Again, this is happening today at noon.
Yes. Also today, 2 to 2:45 p.m., Project Homeworld session. No, it's not a sci-fi movie. This is real life. Inspiring and engaging participation in Project Homeworld. This is the Ideas Academies. They'll be hosting a series of virtual talks to kick off the Student Challenge, Create New Opportunities for a Sustainable Future. That's happening today, 2 to 2:45 p.m. It's going to be at hccs.edu/project homeworld, or I should say hccs.edu/homeworld. We'll have the link of that in this social media post. Virtual coffee breaks, they're going on in a little while, Brittany.
Yep, there's one that follows this podcast. However, it's not going to be on Facebook. To access it, you just need to check your HCCS email for the link, because this virtual coffee breaks happens every Tuesday and Thursday with our Chief Human Resources Officer Janet May and various guests. Today's guest will be Dr. Veronica Reina, who is the Associate Vice Chancellor in the government area. And Thursday, October 8th, Janet May will be joined by not one, but two guests, Dr. Shantae Grace and Joellen Saucier. So be sure to, once again, check your HCCS email for the link to join the virtual coffee breaks.
And Brittany, she's got some special guests at the end of the month.
I know, Todd, very special guest leading up to the Halloween Halloween season.
Yeah, they'll be keeping you up to the minute with the updates on.
I like what you did there.
Yeah, you like that? Okay,
like
so
that.
there you go. That'll be coming up later this month. We'll have more about that later. Thursday is National Coming Out Day. The LGBTQ panel is taking place 11 a.m. Thursday, October 8th. Join Student Life to celebrate National Coming Out Day with an engaging, enlightening discussion with a panel of local LGBTQ plus panelists to discuss rights and issues. So make sure you join them for that. We'll have the link to that because it's a very long link. We'll have the link to that in this social media post. Rec sports, Brittany, they're happening.
Yep, and they're fun, they're fit, and they're free. Most importantly, this is including a new, God, I can't believe I'm saying this, a new workout called Twerk Fitness. That's as Todd likes to call it, twerk out. But also Minute to Win It Challenge. So Rec Sports, this is open to HCC students, faculty, and staff only, and you must use your HCCS email to participate. So Tuesdays and Thursday events are the Zumba, or as Todd likes to call Zumba on Zoom, and their boot camp. There's also a FIFA 20 Gamer League Challenge that's only for students. That's going on October 13th. You have until this Friday, October 9th, to register. So be sure you're following HCCS Athletics on their Instagram and Facebook pages. And if you do have any more questions, be sure to email sports@hccs.edu.
Okay, so Intimacy and Love Scholarship. Follow me here. Counseling Office, the Office for Institutional Equity, is having they're offering a scholarship, a $250 scholarship for a 500-word essay or any artwork. You can share your love for art, prose, and your fellow man in this trying time by applying for the scholarships. And it's called Healthy Relationships. So that's what it's all about. You can learn more about it in the requirements. There's a GPA requirement. You can go to hcc.healthyrelationships@hccs.edu. Actually, that's the email address. We'll have that in the social media post. You can email them and get all the information. $250, good scholarship if you can get it. Someone's got to win it, so it might as well be you. Brittany, All In for HCC, that's our faculty and staff campaign where we are raising money for the foundation.
Yeah, so following that scholarship opportunity, this is also an opportunity for HCC faculty and staff to participate and show our support to financially help students to graduate. Now, as a former scholarship recipient myself, I can't tell you how much this means to me and how much it makes a difference in those scholarship recipients' life. So you can sign up for a payroll deduction today to make an impact all year long. This is ongoing until November 6th. Be sure to head over to hccs.edu/allinforhcc to donate today. And this wouldn't be a social media campaign if we didn't have a hashtag, Todd. So if you're sharing this information about the All In for HCC campaign, be sure to use the hashtag allinforhcc.
That's right. So we've got some Renaissance tickets for the Texas Renaissance Festival. That's underway. We want to give them away right now. Here's what you do. I've got a question for you, and the first two people that can answer this question by commenting in the comments will win a pair of tickets each. Make sure you do, when you do win, Brittany will have you message her with your address and we'll mail you those tickets. You ready for the question, Brittany?
I'm ready, Todd. Let's do it.
Here's today's question. It involves medieval times and movies about medieval times. There was a comedy troupe from England that made a movie about King Arthur. I want to know the name of the comedy troupe and I want to know the name of the movie. First two people to comment with the answer to that question will get a pair of tickets each, and I'll mail those to you for the Texas Renaissance Festival. If you go to the festival, make sure to wear a mask, practice social distancing, and be safe while you're out there. That about wraps up today's show, Brittany. We're going to have some special guests tomorrow, including Chief Greg Cunningham.
That's correct. So he'll always be with us on Wednesdays, and then later we'll be joined by one of our college presidents. So if you're interested to find out who that is, be sure to join us tomorrow morning on Facebook Live for Up to the Minute at 10 a.m.
We'll see you then live here on Up to the Minute.